Hi everybody, I wanted to illustrate the use of several advanced features that you might want to include in your text games. I'll start with two and then I'll do two more. This first code excerpt shows you how to include multiple buttons in a JOption pane. So the way you do it is you type this line, and the only part that you need to understand right now is that these strings that are separated by commas are the names of your buttons. So let's look at what it looks like when we run it. It shows you a JOption pane, and it says click a button, which you'll notice is the message right here. And then the title bar says button options, which is the string right there. And then button 1 and button 2 are the labels from here and here. So if you want to adapt this to your own purposes, all you have to do is change those particular strings and leave everything else the same. So if I click button 2, you'll see down there it said responses 1, which is a little bit confusing. Let me explain what's happening. The first button, if you click it, JOption pane will return the number 0. And notice this is an int. So I said before that JOption pane only returns text, not when you have buttons. So the first button that in this list will return 0. The next one will return 1. Let's pretend we had a third button, button 3. Let's run it again. So if I hit button 3, it says responses 2. So in other words, it's a list where all of the buttons are numbered, but the numbers start with 0. So then if you wanted to know what button they hit, you could have an if statement where you test if response equals 0, then you know they must have hit button 1. Okay, let's proceed to drop-down menu. So I'm going to comment this out. Drop-down menu is very similar. Again, we've got a variable called choices, and we've got a whole bunch of strings separated by commas. Here we've got JOption pane show input dialog. Oh, by the way, this one says show option dialog. Be careful. So here it says show input dialog, and well, let's just run it. You'll see. So now it's a drop-down menu with several options, and then you can click OK or cancel. So similar to the last one, it's going to return a number. So if I choose the second option down and click OK, oh, this one actually returns the strings. Wonderful. Okay, so whatever string you have in here, that's what gets returned as the input. The only other thing to be careful of here, my code is kind of going off the screen, but your choices list here for the drop-down menu is named choices. You have to use that same variable name at the very end of this JOption pane show input dialog as choices and choices 0. Similarly for the previous example. Okay, so those were cool options for JOption pane. Let me show you a cool thing you could do if you're using Scanner down in the console. I'm going to show you how to define a new command. So if you're defining a new command, you have to find the closing brace that matches with main. So in your programs, there's probably 80 or 100 lines of code in here. So you have to create a little bit of space after the closing brace, but before the closing brace for your entire class. And go ahead and paste the code there. This defines a new command called display. And here's how you use the display command. It's like a drop-in replacement for system.out.println. So I can type display, hello, this is my message for the user. So whatever you want to say. And then you give it a number, which is how many milliseconds it should pause between displaying each letter. So let's say I wanted to pause 50 milliseconds between every single letter. Well, here let's do 2 so you can see the difference. So we'll do 50 and we'll do maybe 150. Oops. Okay, so I'll run it, and here in this example you'll want to look down here in the console to see what happens. So there it's saying, hello, this is my message for the user, and then this one you can see is unveiling rather more slowly. So you can choose how fast you want it to go. And that's also kind of a nice effect for your games. I hope this was helpful and that your games turn out well.